I want to talk about pricing when it comes to wedding hair and makeup. It's something that I'm seeing a lot in groups that I'm in, and people are questioning. They're asking for like the average prices and things. It's so difficult to actually say what it is. I done a blog on it recently, and I'm just going by what I know. But the prices do vary so much, so I thought it'd be quite good to come on here and just kind of go over some things why it will vary so much. One of the big factors when it comes to price and wedding hair and makeup is actual experience. How many years has the artist been doing it? Are they new to the scene? Have they been doing it a long time? Have they had a lot of weddings behind them? That's a big factor in it. Also, what kind of kit they have. So you'll see some artists out there, they've got very high-end makeup kit, so they're spending a lot of money on brands like Charlotte Tilbury, Tom Ford, Chanel. And then you've got artists who are maybe doing more, like they've got more like high street brands like Maybelline, L'Oreal, things like that. So that's a big factor when it comes to prices too. You've got to factor in travel, so especially in Scotland, you've got some very remote areas here, so especially up the Highlands and that, there's not many artists up there, and if there are artists there, they tend to be really fully booked because there's not many. So you're going to have to factor in paying for an artist to travel, and a lot of artists, you're going to get up there, you're travelling maybe 2-3 hours, so that's something that you have to think of. You have to factor that in. You might have to factor in accommodation because it's so far away. You can't expect artists, to sort of, if it's a 2-3 hour drive, it might be best to have them staying over the night before. Another thing to think about is actually the additional costs. So a lot of the time people think, oh, it's so, you're charging whatever for sort of hair or makeup. You've got to think though, these artists as well, they have to pay for things like you've got accountants fees, you've got your car wear and tear, you've got insurance, as well as your kit. You've got brushes, you've got all these additional things that you maybe don't think of, bank fees. It's things that you maybe don't necessarily think of automatically, but an artist has to take that into consideration and add that onto their pricing. Also, you've got training and development. So there's a lot of artists out there that they're regularly updating their sort of training, their techniques, keeping up to date with trends. That costs money. You don't really do one course and that's it, you never do any more. I mean, some people might, but experienced good hair and makeup artists will keep investing in themselves. And to find a course to do good training, you're not going to get anything for under £100, and you're unlikely to get anything local to you. So in Scotland especially, a lot of people have to travel down to London, for example, to do good courses. I've been as far as Dublin to do a good course because we don't have them that accessible to us, and you're looking at maybe £200-300 upwards for a good course. Finally, a wee point on it, you do also have to think, sometimes we've got artists out there, some are doing it as a full-time job, some are doing it as a part-time job, as a hobby, so you've got to think of that as well, not only the experience they've got, but sort of the reason they're doing it. So if somebody's maybe just doing it as a wee part-time job, a wee hobby, they maybe won't charge as much because they're not sort of, they've got another job that helps them alongside that, whereas an artist that's maybe doing it more full-time, that's their full-time job, so they have to pay all the bills with that. That's what sort of pays for their mortgages, their rent, whatever it is. You've got to also take that into consideration. A last wee point in all this is people charge what they charge for. They have reasons for it. We're not just making numbers up. We're not being greedy, or we're not being, we have these numbers for a reason. We have things to pay. We have bills to pay. We have to take that into account. And some are maybe more geared to luxury budget. Some are more affordable. There's an artist out there for everyone, whatever your price range is. If you find somebody you like, if they're out your price range, that's fair, that's okay, that's the way the world is. But you will find somebody that is more in your price range, so take that into account. It's easy to think, oh, they're so expensive, and sort of, people are saying, oh, they're ripping you off. It's not like that at all. If somebody's more expensive, there's a reason for it, and I think we've got to respect that. I like, designer clothes. I can't afford them. I love them. I'd love to buy them, but I can't afford it, and I've got to just accept that. That's the way life is, and it's the same for any suppliers out there, for anything, not just weddings, anything that you're paying for. People are charging their prices for a reason. They're not automatically trying to rip you off, and I see that a lot in Facebook groups, especially people saying, oh, I'm paying £40, you're paying £100, or that's, they're ripping you off. It's not like that at all. There's somebody out there for every budget, so whatever your budget is, take that into account, and we've just got to accept that's what our budgets are.